Well, hi, hello, welcome back to Booze Reviews, where I, Aunt Boo, drink some booze, and review some movies, review some movies. That was so stupid. Today's booze is Kirkland Signature Alexander Valley, a 2020 vintage. Ooh, it's Cabernet Sauvignon. It's from Sonoma. It's from Sonoma County. It's cheap, it's red, it's like Finola Hughes's outfit in this movie. It's just a cheap knockoff of something that's good. Kind of like the Frank Stallone. It's like the Frank Stallone of wines. It's not bad. It's drinkable, right? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much what you would expect from Costco, right? It's gonna get the job done. I'm gonna be able to buy it in bulk for pretty reasonably. And it kind of tastes like fleece pants. I don't know. You know what Costco has. They have like birthday cakes and like giant tubs of cream cheese and pants. Men's sweatpants. And that's kind of what this tastes like. It's not a bad wine. It's actually pretty good. Unlike this movie. This movie is not good. Which we all know that. That's why you guys chose it. You set me up big time. So today's movie is Staying Alive, made in 1983. It's rated PG. It has a running time of 1 hour and 33 minutes. It's directed by Sylvester Stallone. I know. You can tell. There's some tells in here. It stars John Travolta, Cynthia Rhodes, Finola Hughes. There's a cameo by Red Foreman, and also a cameo by Frank Stallone. And that damn song that he sings, do you know they play that song? The entire song twice in this movie. That goddamn song. That song has been in my head for a week straight, because even before I watched the movie, I had this song in my head even when I was just thinking about watching the movie. It's in my head all the time. Hey, me darling, I am far from over. It's the worst. I've never watched this movie in its entirety. Yeah, why is Red Foreman like the cutthroat casting guy of the dance troupe? We open with Tony Manero. So John Travolta is reprising his Saturday Night Fever role. Is he, though? No, I don't think he is. You know, let's talk about Saturday Night Fever for a minute, okay? Even though it wasn't like the most cinematic, monumental film of all time, it was such a cultural moment for the 70s. Not only did it reflect disco culture, but it also contributed to it with this amazing soundtrack, right? That just defined a decade. John Travolta played about as shallow a guy as you expect someone whose whole life centers around the club scene. He was sort of a victim of his own, youth, really, and immaturity, and also of just his own neighborhood and the people that he was friends with. Oh, by the way, that they f***ing someone. Do we all forget it? I think we forget about that in Saturday Night Fever. His friends like gang somebody. That's not cool. And then his one friend falls off a bridge and dies. Saturday Night Fever, maybe it wasn't the smartest film, but it was for what it was, a good film, because it showed the glitz and glamour of what disco culture could be, juxtaposed with this gritty realism and sort of this silly, goofy, pathetic guy in real life who didn't really have a plan and didn't really have any remarkable skills other than that he was a really good dancer at the disco, right? And he wanted to make something of himself when it came to dance. But even at the end of Staying Alive, the song, which was brilliant, by the way, it was a brilliant song to go with that movie because there were layers to that song. The irony was that this was a dance song about staying alive and nothing can keep me down. But at the end of it, it's basically, you realize, no, you're just staying alive. You're not really going anywhere. You're just there. You're not thriving. And so even the line at the end of the song, Staying Alive, is like, I'm going nowhere. Somebody help me. Somebody help me, yeah. That was pretty good. That was pretty good, very good. So that is what made Saturday Night Fever this cultural phenomenon that really stuck with audiences, and the lovable, flawed, and ultimately kind of tragic character of Tony Manero is that we know there's not a lot of depth to him. We get it. We understood. At the end of that movie, it's not like everyone was like, I wonder what's going to happen to him in 5 years. No, we kind of assumed that he really wouldn't get out of his neighborhood and he would probably be the guy that ends up overstaying his welcome at the local disco. But then Sylvester Stallone took all of that and took a flamethrower to it, Rambo style, and was like, no, we got to follow up with Tony Manero. I want to know where that guy's going. And you know where he went? It got all sweaty. It got all sweaty. He put a bandana on and he made him look like Rambo, but like in a gay porn. What is up with the leotards in this movie? I don't want to see. Didn't I have enough penises last week? I had enough penises with the last movie, and now this movie is like all I can focus on is the button down there, the little button. It's just junk. It's just junk flying around. Ugh, you guys, why do you do this to me? I know that in this day and age, you're not supposed to like assume someone's gender identity or sexual identity or sexual orientation or whatever, but can we stop pretending like John Travolta is straight? Does this look like a guy that has a one-way ticket to Pussy Town? No. No. This guy's not going to Pussy Town, okay? This is not an outfit for the ladies, all right? This is not an outfit for the ladies. And look, if he wants to be straight, whatever. I just think that the problem isn't really him or even Hollywood. I think it's the fucking cult that he's a part of. You know the one I'm talking about. That cult that's convinced him that he can't be gay and that it's not okay. And come on, that shit. Be who you are. You know, John Travolta is not going to kill his career by coming out. It's okay to come out now, John Travolta. You know how the rise and fall of his career, we've kind of followed it, and it's been like, okay, so when he was in Welcome Back, Kotter, it was like, oh, John Travolta. And then when he was in Grease, we were like, yeah, John Travolta. And then he was like in Saturday Night Fever, and we were like, okay, John Travolta. And then he was in Urban Cowboy, and we were like, John Travolta. And then he was in Staying Alive, and we were like, John Travolta. And then he was in Perfect, and we were like, oh, John Travolta. But then he was in Pulp Fiction, and we were like, oh, John Travolta. John Travolta again, right? And then he was in Battlefield Earth, and we were like, John Travolta. And then he was in Hairspray, and we were all like, John Travolta? John Travolta? And so if he came out, listen, I think we would all be like, John Travolta? John Travolta? He's already beloved. He's iconic. We love him. We love him. We don't love everything that he's done, but we love him. So just come on out, John Travolta. It's okay. It's okay. We want this for you. I want him to be his most self-loving, self-accepting self. I said self too much. Come on. Don't get mad at me and say, well, he's not gay. Bitch. Again, does this look like the mayor of Pussytown to you? Just because he plays these guys that get a lot of P doesn't mean that he doesn't really want some D. Cheers. Okay, so there's sweat, arms, hands, sweat. Frank Stallone, sweat. And he's like auditioning for this Broadway show, which, by the way, I don't think the writers, i.e. Sylvester Stallone and a couple other people who were probably just there to check his spelling, I don't think the writers of the movie have ever seen a Broadway show, because all the Broadway show is dancing. I've never seen a Broadway show that was just dancing, no acting, no script, no singing, no nothing. They're just dancing. This is weird shit. And so it's like somebody saw Cats, but all they remembered of it was like the spandex and the dancing, and they were like, let's do that, but like really mess it up and put some people in gimp outfits and, you know, put John Travolta in a loincloth because Sylvester Stallone, I think, has a man crush on him. So they're like all sweaty, and dancers are real sweaty, and they got their junk on like full display. Cynthia Rhodes, oh my God, she's so cute. She has got the cutest little face. She looks like a little stuffed animal. I don't know, there's always been just something really cute and just girl next door about her face, but then she's got this body that's like, get it, Cynthia Rhodes. She was so cute in Flashdance. She was awesome. She was so great in Dirty Dancing. And then whatever happened to Cynthia Rhodes? I don't know. Anyway, she's my favorite in this movie. She's the only one worth watching in this movie because John Travolta is pretty bad. I mean, you know that though. You knew this was going to be a bad movie. And I don't have too much else to say. Yeah, I do. Who the fuck am I kidding? Tony Manero is living in Manhattan in a hotel. He's like a waiter and he teaches dance classes. How's he qualified to do that? It's only been 5 years since Saturday Night Fever. Wait, when was that made? Saturday Night Fever was 77, I believe. So that came out in 77. So let's just assume that it's been like 5 or 6 years since he's been in Brooklyn. So I guess he's like a professional dancer now. He knows all the tricks and he knows all the moves. And so he's teaching dancing. I don't think so. I don't think that there's any truth to that at all. He waits tables at this 80s club that is no longer disco. He's looking at the disco ball like, man, sure wish I could bust out my lightning bolt move, but that won't go over very well because now people have lightning bolt earrings like Jim and the Holograms or Barbie and the Rockers, and everyone looks like they're in a Timex commercial and they're smoking cocaine out back in Satan's Alley. Then he walks the street, he bumps into Sylvester Stallone, and that's pretty funny. Sylvester Stallone. There's like rampant narcissism in this movie and nepotism and some otherism, fetishism. That's coming up. Well, and then he's like supposed to be dating Cynthia Rhodes' character. Her name's Jackie because that's cute. She's so cute. And he goes to watch her dance, but he's staring at Finola Hughes the whole time. Why? I don't know. I don't think she's a very good dancer. I was going to say it. I think it's the hair. I think it's her hair flying all over the place and that she's just oozing this rich girl confidence maybe. I'm not quite sure. I think Cynthia Rhodes like totally blows her out of the water, but you know, what the do I know? I'm not the mayor of Pussytown. I should be. Any woman in your 40s, tell me like the early part of your 40s, like you were just keyed up all the time. And I'm like, you know what? I could kiss a woman. Has my whole life been a lie? I don't know. And I'm not making light of it. I'm really not. I'm just saying, you know, it's an option. And then sometimes you just get so sick of men's bullshit, don't you? Don't you? I do have Cork in this one too. He ends up stalking Finola Hughes, going up to her dressing room, and he's all flirting with her. You have a lady right in the other room. He's such an asshole. And he gives her the worst pickup lines. It's the worst dialogue. It's not even worth showing you because it's just, I think Sylvester Stallone wrote it. I'm like, if this is how he hits on women, no wonder he ended up with a dog. Remember, he got divorced because of his dog. That would be funnier if I didn't totally think that's what my husband would do, is leave me for our dog. Yeah, he's, you know, Tony's a player. He's a certified player. He has irons in the fire, and he's just not going to be tied down by any woman. And this would be okay if he wasn't also like really jealous and possessive of Jackie, and but he's hitting on other women. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. He's just an asshole. He's just a bad guy. And then he keeps saying, no, I'm a good guy. I changed. I'm mature. I'm mature now. It's like, you're not mature. You're just a fucking baby. Tony Manero, who calls his mommy. That is sweet, though. It's just nonstop burps. So let's review. In my 40s, it's just nonstop indigestion and sexual revolution. Oh, and religious deconstruction. I did that too. What else have I done in my 40s? I don't want to talk about it. He and Jackie end up auditioning for Satan's Alley. The stupidest name for any Broadway play. It's not even a play. It's not a play. It's not a musical. They just dance. They just dance around in it. That doesn't exist. That's a Vegas act. That's not a Broadway play. This should have been set in Vegas, and then it would have been the precursor to Showgirls. And then I could have reviewed Showgirls. Boom, full circle. Channel is coming together. Hands. So yeah, he auditions for Satan's Alley, also known as John Travolta's butt crack. Satan's Alley, that's where my brother found a stack of Playgirls when he was 9 years old. Satan's Alley, otherwise known as Fremont Street in Vegas. Satan's Alley sounds like when I was in my youth group in the 90s, the Christian church would do the haunted houses, like the hell houses. And I'm sure they had a room called Satan's Alley where like there was a kid with the leather jacket on and like a fake joint being like, hey, you want to go smoke some pot? Hey, you want to go smoke some pot out in the back in the Satan's Alley? Satan's Alley is where this wine comes from. Satan's Alley is like a 24-hour Walmart at like 2 a.m. That's Satan's Alley right there. I don't have to tell you, he gets the part because he's got anger and intensity, and also because he flirted with Viola Hughes, and she was all like, I'll put in a good word for you. I can't do a good British accent, you guys. We've established this already, but I don't have a good British accent. But neither does she, really. I know she's from England, but she's just a terrible actress. And so then he meets her and they walk around the city and they start making out, and then they do it, but and then they do it. It's like this, it's like a long sequence of like them walking around New York talking. I can't imagine what they're talking about. I can't imagine what they have in common. I can't even imagine them stringing together more than 5 syllables at a time, but whatever. They end up in bed, and like the biggest bed ever. It is the most 80s bed of ever 80s that ever bedded. He's like, oh, I respect you. And then he immediately calls Jackie. The fuck is that, Tony Manero? You fucking player. So he screws this girl and then calls his other girl to make sure no one is sleeping with her. What a man whore. Yeah, men can be whores. You know what? And we shouldn't even have to say man whore. When we say whore, it should be a man or a woman's word, because you know what? He's a hoe. He's a damn whore. So then the director is all like, this is Satan's Alley and we have to be intense. We have to be... And he says it with like a straight face. Did everyone think this movie was good when they were doing it? Nobody realized this movie was absolute hot trash. They all take it really seriously, and that's disappointing. John Travolta's character has fallen pretty hard for Viola Hughes, even though she has like the personality of a Foot, and she's kind of a bitch, and she's playing him, which is kind of satisfying because, you know, she's giving him the old dose of his own medicine, which we like that. We want that for him. It's like, yeah, learn this lesson, you piece of shit. So he's learning the lesson, but he's dumb. He's like really dumb. It takes him forever to learn this lesson. That's why I question how he became a professional dancer. Because he's pretty dumb. How did he learn all this stuff in 5 years? I would think, well, maybe it's just because he's passionate about it. I don't know. He's like the idiot savant, you know. But then, okay, so he's getting a little too close to her. And so she's like, hey, buddy, back off. You don't own me. And he's like, what? Yeah, I do. What was all that? We made it. And she's like, everybody uses everybody. Everybody uses everybody. Or something. She says it like that too. It's really, it's a terrible line that's delivered terribly. Cynthia Rhodes is singing in a band with Frank Stallone. And there's this one part where John Travolta goes to see her, and he's like, I don't like that guy. I don't like the way he's looking at you right now. And this is the way he's looking at them. Nobody likes the way he's looking right now. You are correct, sir. That is a fine assessment of what is happening. So despite them having this big fight, Finola Hughes invites him over for like this hoity-toity party. And so he wears this white suit, the white suit, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's just a total joke. He doesn't belong at that party. He's got no business being there. And they don't have anything in common. So she's like, pretty truthful with him that, no, you're really good in bed, but I don't really like you all that much. So he leaves and he goes to see Jackie, and she's singing and crying. Jackie, you are too good for this man. You're too good for all of this. You're too good for this movie. Why didn't Cynthia Rhodes ever get her own like show or her own like movie? Did she? If she is the lead in a show or a movie, will somebody please drop that knowledge below, because I'm kind of digging on her and I would like to see more of her. Because hit me up, Cynthia Rhodes. Kind of in love with you now. So what else? What was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm a lesbian now. So yeah, she's such an angel, and he makes her cry like a big old asshole. So then they go back to rehearsal, and the guy who's the lead dancer is being kind of a fussy pants. He's kind of a fancy pants too, because he's like, this is bullshit. He's like, this is bullshit.
This is bullshit.
He's what, you know, he's exactly what I would think of when I think of Broadway dancer. And so then who swoops in to steal the part but Tony Manero? Tony Manero steals the lead, and Jackie helps them. She teaches them the part. She helps them get the part. Then they fall back in love and they get back together. And then the song plays again in its entirety. The entire song, Far From Over, plays again. This is worse than Chumbawamba. Like when that song came out, when the Chumbawamba song came out, it was years before that got out of my head. And I takes a whiskey drink, he drinks a vodka drink. Cider drink, he takes a lager drink. He sings the songs that remind him of the good times, sings songs that remind him of the better times. I am sorry to my UK friends who have beautiful British accents. Feel free to make fun of Americans as much as you want to on your channels, because we're not great. We're not that great. We're not. And God only knows what's gonna happen this year. There's gonna be a lot of Costco wine, I'll tell you that much. Then it's the night of the Satan's Alley premiere, and I keep wanting to call him Tony Romero. Tony Manero's mama shows up to Satan's Alley. She didn't know what to expect. I don't know if I would invite my mom to see Satan's Alley, although I did invite her to come see me in Pippin when I was in Pippin in summer stock, me and my brother. And you know, that gets a little raunchy at places. And also nobody knew what the hell the musical was about, just like this one. And it's not a musical. Satan's Alley is not a musical. They're just dancing around in freaking Borat swimsuits and gimp costumes. And so John Travolta, he comes out. Now look, up until now, there's been a lot of dance scenes of him in leotards with his junk being all junky. But now he's wearing like a loincloth. His body is all oily and like rock hard. And it's not bad. I'm not mad at it. This is just like gay Rambo. It's Grambo. Is it Grambo? Gambo. Gay Rambo is Gambo, right? It's totally Gambo. Or maybe it just is like Rambo. Yeah, it is. But he's all like tan and oily and like all like Ripley and stuff and just flouncing through the air. And he is rather flouncy in this movie. He flounces a lot, and he flounces in slow motion. Flouncy Magoo. Just flouncing out there in the flouncy flounce. So yeah, there's like so many gimps and so many Borat swimsuits. And then it's like he gets the whip, and then it's all like Gambo versus the Gimps, and then he dances it out in a solo. He's got his moment, right? It's this big moment, and he's not supposed to have a solo, but he takes one anyway because, damn it, he is Tony Manero, and this is his moment to shine, right? And so he just dances, and it's not good. He should have stuck to the choreography. It's a lot of this and a lot of this. But at least he didn't do this. Hands. And then, so the show's over. And then he never apologized to Jackie. I don't think he ever said, I'm sorry. I'm not rewatching this, by the way. I don't care. It didn't feel like he said he was sorry, so I'm not rewatching it to pay that close attention. But I don't think he ever said he was sorry to Jackie. And so you know what? F that guy. But then he kisses her, and he's looking over his shoulder at Finola Hughes, eye humping her, and then he leaves. He's like, you know what I want to do? And she's like, what? And she's thinking like, propose? Make love? Go dancing together? Have a kiss? And he's like, no, I want to strut. And that's how he ends up, by strutting down Satan's alley to go get some more cocaine. And then that's it. That's how they end it. To the song Staying Alive, which doesn't apply here. You can't use Staying Alive. It doesn't apply to this movie. No, he's the hero of this movie. No, he's not supposed to be a hero. He's supposed to be the everyman. He's not a hero. He's a star in his own mind. That's why Saturday Night Fever worked. But here he's an actual star? No! And also, he looked really good. But that's neither here nor there. Sylvester Stallone did to this movie pretty much what he did to Rocky. Like Rocky, the first one was a great movie, and then all of the sequels were just like these shiny, weird tryhards, you know? And that's what this movie is, except it's way below that. He doesn't do good in sequels. Although Rocky 3 was really good. Ah, damn it, and so was Rocky 4. But they were good in a cheesy way. You know, like John Travolta, he's so cheesy in Saturday Night Fever, and it worked in that movie. But this, it's like it's too much cheese. Is there such a thing as too much cheese? In life, no, but on screen, yes. There is way too much cheese, like cheese on cheese on cheese. Oh, cheese. Cheese is so good. And also, like, Sylvester Stallone he shouldn't be writing dialogue. Unless it's dialogue of, like, people who are brain damaged or something. I need a new song, guys. Comment below what song I should get in my head next, because I will go listen to it right now. I'm sick of having Frank Stallone in my head. And that's it. Save me, darling. Over.
This is bullshit.